All right, we're live. Royal Rumble 2023, WrestleBuzz post-show review. It's Joseph Fresh from Wrestle Journey Podcast. Also with the CEO of Paper Champion Fantasy Wrestling, Eric. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Fantastic, my man. I love Royal Rumbles. And tonight did not disappoint. I thought all around it was a solid pay-per-view. Might have been a bit lengthy, men's Rumble. We'll get into that. But loved it, man. Very excited. Very excited.
Hell yeah. And boots, as we call it, boots on the ground here at WrestleBuzz. Gurge Brooms from the Top Rope Podcast live at the Alamo Dome. This is fantastic. We'll get into how your experience was, but how are you, dude?
Hey, man, I'm fantastic, and I absolutely had a great time with this show. We'll get into it and stuff like that, but the Alamo Dome is a wonderful venue. Even though you can kind of see they had half of it cut off over here, it's fine. It's fine. And I actually see the WrestleMania sign this time. I was sitting behind it the whole night, but absolutely awesome show and great experience.
Hell yeah, dude. Luckily it didn't burn down like last year, or it was melting or whatever the fuck happened last year.
Yes, it was on fire.
We're glad you're safe. A couple comments here. Patrick Santoro. Hey, fellas. What's going on, Pat? How you doing, buddy? Glad you're here. And NJ3 from Wrestling Journal. Gurge.
Nice.
Show some love. What's up, dude? Boys, man. I mean, we have two different aspects here. We watched it from home. Gurge, you were live, so we may get a different vibe here. Let's just dive right into it. It opened up with the men's Royal Rumble match, and man, throughout the whole day, dirt sheets were jumping and jiving with different fucking match cards here. What we were going to see starting off the show, what was going to end the show. We got the men's Rumble, but before the men's Rumble, a returning Pat McAfee came out, and I don't know if you could tell at home, Gurge, but I don't think Michael Cole even knew, because he sounded pretty shocked. Or he was lying to us, but he sold it like he didn't know. So Pat McAfee's back in the booth, and dude, Gunther and Sheamus starting it off. Gunther, I don't want to go individually by every entry, but I think we have to focus on Gunther here. The Iron Man of the Royal Rumble this year, the men's Royal Rumble, number one to the final two. Gurge, what was his representation like there, and what were your just overall feelings from the start of the show?
So the Pat McAfee pop was awesome, and we were, I know you had sent something out earlier, and if the men's Rumble was going to start or not, and the guy sitting in front of me was like, "No, it's definitely starting." I was like, "Well, that's a ballsy move, because that means they got some big stuff planned for later." But yeah, the Pat McAfee pop was awesome, and then when Gunther came out as number one, I told the guy, I was like, he's going to be the second to last. I told the guy sitting next to me, he's one there. You don't put Gunther in that position to not give him the Iron Man. And I won't go through everybody, but the end, I don't know if they're trying to save Seth and Cody, but it really should have been Seth and Cody at the end. Personally, I think it would have had a little bit more heat, but maybe because whenever Cody went out, Seth was not a babyface, and now he's a babyface, and maybe they didn't want that dynamic, which is fine. It did go a little long at the end, but Gunther going the distance, he had everybody in my section hype as hell the entire time.
Yeah, dude, let's be honest. That was their own fucking match at the end of the show, at the end of the match there at the Rumble. Cody and Gunther just killed it. And the potential there for the future is bright. I think I fantasy booked myself having Seth and Cody opening the Rumble and just going through the whole thing, right? So to see them they had their interaction, but it wasn't anything crazy. And like you said, Seth's a babyface now. It's a different storyline. Overall, the Rumble was great. The men's Rumble, I thought it was entertaining. Not as many surprises that we thought we maybe would get, if any at all, right? We knew Cody was coming. No one else came, right? As far as I know, the list is here.
Hey, you put some respect on Booker T's name, okay?
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. Well, he's technically a higher talent by WWE, so it's not really a surprise. By the way, just looking to the side of Bray Wyatt's on the press conference right now. Can't listen to it, but he's there. We are competing. It's the Saturday Night Wars between WrestleBuzz and WWE Live on Peacock.
I had to make sure that I paused it here.
Yeah. I'll check back.
I was able to hear a little bit of what Rio was saying. I didn't get to finish with what she was yapping about. So hopefully Peacock brings me back.
Eric, we got to watch the Rumble together. like I said, I'm not going to go through every entry here, but just your initial thoughts on what we saw. Gunther got the rub. Cody won it. Logan Paul showed up. Are we getting Logan Paul and Seth at Mania now? Is that a thing? Like, we have things can come out of a Rumble match that pretty much depict the future of what we're going to get for future rivalries. Ray didn't show up. The apparently trending on Twitter was like 29 men only or something, or whatever. It was something about not acknowledging Ray.
29
whatever.
good men.
Yeah. Just overall thoughts on the Rumble, man. I thought it was a good time.
I thought it was fantastic. One of the more entertaining Royal Rumbles that we've had recently. One thing I will say, I guess a bit of a complaint myself personally, is we knew Cody was going into it. We knew a winner would possibly be either Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes. The fact that the match was positioned first on the card, I think, kind of took Sami off the plate immediately. So we knew and we were anticipating Cody. To have him come out very dead last at 30 was like, okay, cool, but quite obvious. Other than that, I mean, obvious is never, it's not always bad. It shouldn't always be, equal to being bad. It was still good. I still thought it was fantastic. Love Cody Rhodes' attire. Everybody should know I love the fashion of professional wrestling and what they wear inside the ring. Love it. Cody Rhodes looked great. Another guy that looked great is superstar you were mentioning before, Seth Rollins. Had like the old school San Antonio Spurs look, like from the early 90s before they went black and gray, I believe. It looked fucking great.
Yeah,
loved it. Gunther as the Iron Man was something I did not predict at all, but I just love that he's getting that kind of love and that rub, especially after the rumors of what Vince had in mind for him. Thank God he was treated with such respect here tonight. Him starting out with Sheamus was great because that was my match of the year last year at Clash of the Castle. Seeing him, started out again, just great. I don't really have any complaints, man. I'm interested in seeing where things go. Do we see Logan and Rollins at Mania? It seems that way because one thing we know about Seth Rollins is that he holds a grudge. So he's gonna hold the fact that, Logan Paul eliminated him from the Rumble. I think that's something that we might possibly see play out. It might take time. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Logan Paul until it starts time for Mania season, and then this moment gets brought up again, and it leads to their matchup and rivalry. But loved it, man. I thought loved it. Long.
Yeah, I mean, it was long, yeah, for sure. I think would Gunther have an hour and 10 in the match, and the match went about an hour and 25 or whatever it was,
breaking Rey Mysterio's record, which is quite amazing.
Oh,
and
shit, did he?
Breaking, I guess, Daniel Bryan's as well from the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think Michael Cole acknowledged that he broke the traditional Royal Rumble record, not the overall.
He didn't do Daniels.
He didn't break Daniels. No,
that's surprising, seeing how he and Cody had like a full match after the Rumble.
A couple questions here. Was Gunther and Lesnar stare down in the ring a setup for Mania? I fucking hope so. I don't know. We know Bobby and Lesnar is going to be a thing. Does it go to Mania? I think it's a dream for anybody, right? I don't think it's just like any hardcore fan. Just like Lesnar versus Gunther is. I mean, Lesnar matched up with a lot of people tonight that I was like, damn, this could be fun.
Hey, real quick before I get kicked out of this place.
Okay.
And I'm gonna walk my way away from the Wi-Fi, but I'll stick with this. I just want to give my thoughts on the full Rumble. Brock Lesnar had the biggest pop of the night. It was absolutely electric whenever that music went off.
Yeah.
This is my first time seeing Brock Lesnar as a face. Like every time I've seen him before this, he's been a heel, and just getting that face love was fantastic. When he got eliminated, it was awesome. And people were booing the absolute shit out of Logan Paul. I popped for Logan Paul because the dude just had like a torn ACL or something or whatever it was. And the fact that he even made it to the Rumble was crazy. You guys tell me, too, was he eliminated and then came back in, or he was never eliminated? What happened there?
So, actually, fun spot here. We'll get back to you on the other question, Pat. But Pat brought up that Logan Ricochet moment was fire. It absolutely was fire. And that's what I think that's what put Logan out of the ring. That after that spot, he rolled out, and then he stayed out for a minute because I saw that motherfucker lurking in the background. I'm like, tell me this piece of crap is not going to jump in.
He never took a bump like that. He might have had to like really reset the frame.
we were questioning everything in my section. We're like, wait a minute, what the hell was he eliminated? Is he just coming in? What the hell
Yeah.
happened? We had no clue, and then he obviously got eliminated. But Cody Rhodes coming in at number 30 was fantastic. Like I said earlier, I wish him and Seth would have gone the distance after the match, but I'm glad Gunther got the rub. When you look in Royal Rumble history and you see that the number 30 and the number 1 were the last 2 people in the ring, so I don't know how many times that's happened, but it had its like down moments. I
Yeah.
call them warm bodies. Like you had some warm bodies. Like nothing against the Street Profits or Otis and all them, but they probably could have sprinkled in a little bit more, either special guests or a little bit more believable people. But I'm gonna start walking out. If I lose signal, I'll be right back.
Yeah, and just hop back in. I'll get you back in there, brother. But it's funny you say that, dude, because we were talking during watching the Rumble, and we actually brought up the Street Profits and Otis and Gable being, not really needed. I think you can argue having tag teams in the Rumble and whether it's believable or not, right? So single stars only, I think maybe should be a thing going forward. That's a good point. NJ3, not a single NXT guy in the men's Rumble. That let him down. I mean, yeah, I think you had room for Braun Breaker. You had room for Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy. My God, Joe Gacy. I know Nick's gonna love that. But you had room for a lot of people where you could have taken out guys like Otis, guys like Gable. Nothing against them, but even like main roster guys like Mustafa, or shout out to Retribution, but like a
I
couple of
wouldn't
dudes.
mind seeing a Carmelo Hayes or
Yeah,
Grayson Waller would have been nice.
yeah, for sure. So, yeah, NJ3 with the Carmelo Hayes shout. Pat, I brought this up. I guess why I put Cody 30 after playing his comeback. I think you could argue it, and then you could. It seemed very Vince of WWE to do the whole play up for Cody, have him come in 30. There's a store, and have him win. Like, it's very obvious, I guess, right? I don't know if I have really an argument for it. I think that's how they wanted to do it. They really wanted to play it up. I think the way he earned his win was better than what maybe would have been back in the day. Remember, they're trying to find that top babyface, and I think the way they're doing it is like they're 50-50. So I'll see where they go with this. Eliminating Logan Paul, eliminating Gunther, it's huge for him the way he did it. The match basically they had at the end of the Rumble was good. So I'll see where they go. But I get what you're saying, Pat. I don't know if I wish there was a little more to it than just the hype up.
Yeah, it was definitely something that after a couple of picks, it's like, all right, when is Cody going to come out? Are they going to put him at 30?
Joey, text me your shirt size.
Okay, I don't want to say it on live. We have respect around here.
Got to keep everybody in mystery.
I'm going, dude. Relax. I can only text and talk at the same time. All right, so following the men's Rumble, well, shout out to Cody, man. Got to give him love. Shirt size, extra sexy. Agree to disagree. Cody should have come out and helped Sammy. Dude, you could argue that. I thought The Rock was going to come out too. I think I think The Rock's mom was in the crowd too. I think I saw someone post a picture of that too. So I think a lot of people thought The Rock was going to be there. But
oh, that's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that final segment worked without Cody. I don't think it needed Cody just yet. There might be a moment on the road to WrestleMania that we need to make a pit stop that Cody needs to get involved in. But I think the purpose of that final segment there that we saw was to establish exactly that Sammy is now, obviously he can't let, he had enough. It's over. Yeah. This is like a mafia movie. You know what I mean? And KO was about to be whacked and stuffed into the trunk of the car and drove off into the middle of the woods somewhere. And Sammy couldn't have that. Sammy couldn't have that because that's your boy. That's his real bloodline. And, you needed the beatdown to take place. You needed the brutality of it. Even before the matchup, I told Joey when we were watching it, I said, KO, this might end up getting violent because KO, there needs to be a point that's established. The test that Roman is going to put Sammy through is watch me beat your boy's ass to oblivion. You're going to watch it, and I'm going to test your loyalty when it's time for you to beat his ass. You know what I mean? And that's rough. What would you do if that's your best friend in that situation? Like, what do you get? Like, yeah, Roman's getting whacked. You know. Now, the one thing coming out of that is really surprising is Jay walking out.
Yeah.
And what's going to come out of that? Being shocked. Remember, this whole Roman Empire started with Jay. Acknowledge me is because he wanted Jay to acknowledge him.
Mm-hmm.
And, now we're at a point where Sammy is the first bloodline member to betray, to do the thumbs down. You know what I mean? And is this now making Jay kind of second think, the fuck am I doing here? What's going on? Is he having a midlife crisis? Is he so angry that he's blacking out? He's like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. I gotta get out of the ring. You know what I mean? I got warrants. What's happening?
Pat wants to know if he should cancel his order for the honorary shirt. I mean,
might be a collector's item now.
Yeah, right. Don't open it. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack there. We'll deep dive into that a little later, or hopefully not a little later, but shortly. Bray Wyatt and LA Knight, the first ever pitch black match, sponsored by Mountain Dew. Hopefully, Gurge can get some service soon, so we could get his actual view here.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what it was like inside the actual arena. Yeah. This was something I was excited to ask him about.
Yeah, I can hear you. Just talk. We can't. You're choppy on the video, but just talk. What was it like the actual match?
So here's the deal, man. Whenever they were doing they were setting it up. We were trying to figure out what the hell they were doing in the ring. Like, what are they like? We saw them with like these, I don't know, like these strips, and they were like.
Yes, man, I work
with the ropes. Right. Like, what the hell are they doing? And then they whipped out the Mountain Dew thing. So we're trying to figure it out. And the moment those.
All right, we'll wait till Gurge gets a good area, and we'll deep dive into his view of the match, being there live in person. Watching it from home, listen, if you follow us on any aspect of just podcast or whatever, you know my take on Bray. I ain't gonna shit on him real quick. I'll wait until it's like over, right? But I thought it was visually entertaining. We know, and I've said this in Discord, follow us in Discord. I'm not expecting a 5-star match out of Bray every time. I can't. You can't do that because he doesn't do that. It's not his thing. The build up to the story, the entertainment of the story, and then the match itself, all into one. I think the match, the visual of it was great. Whether it was the punch out holes in the desk and the explosions of the neon lights, it was cool. The face paint on Bray was cool. LA Knight's gear popped. And I think the ending, I mean, it was a short match. I didn't think we were expected to be a barn burner. But after the match with Uncle Howdy or whoever we saw, with the elbow drop, with the fire, and then seeing the puppets live in person again. I'm just saying, my perspective, being a Bray guy, I thought it was good. I know, Eric, you have said to me post the match, there's still questions that aren't answered. And I think you could bring that up here. But I think there's time. I don't think we're at the end of the road. Maybe with LA Knight and Bray, there's no questions answered, but I think we're still getting things answered from Uncle Howdy, the Uncle Howdy aspect of it, right? Bobby wants to know what was the point of the toolbox. I don't know. Maybe they were. All I could think is, and in a defense, I guess, would be they were cut time, and maybe there was more to the match. Like he was going to torture, or he had plans to torture him, or maybe it was a foreshadow of what he could do in the match where he threw the toolbox in. We know what's in the toolbox: pliers, screwdriver, wrench, whatever he can maybe torture. I don't know. But yeah, we watched it at home, Eric. We kind of talked about it, so just let the people know what were your thoughts on the match.
Yeah, so to address the point of the toolbox, I thought that as well when it happened. I thought, oh man, we're getting this toolbox. The last time we saw Bray Wyatt with the toolbox, that I can remember was the infamous Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins. And we all know how that goes. And I was really hoping we weren't going to get that once again. I don't know what it could have been, just something that just went, under the radar and passed through in their matchup without either man really realizing it. I mean, once again, it was dark, so they might have just gone on with I forgot what the sequence was specifically within that moment after Bray threw the toolbox inside of the ring. As far as the match goes, I would have preferred if I mean, I get it. It's sponsored by Mountain Dew. You got to have the logo plastered everywhere. But I mean, did it take me out of the match or anything? No, not at all. Now, as far as the unanswered questions that you had mentioned, Joey, so I wasn't going into this matchup hoping to get everything. I'm enjoying the long-term storyline that we're getting here with Bray Wyatt. It's nice. This is something that we don't really get too much with WWE, and it's nice. What's nice is that so far it's been coherent. So far, there's been some, continuity to it. Alexa's involved. I'd imagine on the road to WrestleMania, a lot more of the puzzle cueing, Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the backstrings, Pepe Sylvia, you know what I mean? So, like, eventually, I'd imagine all of these crossroads are going to combine, and we're going to get the answers. One big one that I had is, like, so obviously there's been, Uncle Howdy, right? But there's multiple faces that we've seen. Mm-hmm. So we've seen the mask that had the cutout on the face that first gave Bray Wyatt the Sister Abigail. And then there's the one that's kind of been predominantly like haunting Alexa, the one that we saw come out, that seems to be a little bit more like jolly old manish, creepy-ish in a sense. I thought that we were going to kind of get, to be honest with you, both of them together to kind of signify that these are two different people possibly, or just what the answer is behind the fact that why is there two different masks, something along those lines. But once again, we might get that on the road to Mania. So those were answers that weren't necessarily given. Obviously, I mean, we did see one of the Howdies do the insane ass fucking jackass dive, which was awesome, into the fire. Killed Los Angeles Knight. He's done. Rest in peace, Los Angeles Knight. Unbelievable. But, one thing I will say, and I said it the moment it happened, I'm an action figure guy. You can get a little sneak peek right there. It's just a minimal, like a bit of the collection that I've got. And the first thing I thought was this Bray Wyatt action figure when they come out with it is going to look insane with the black light effects. Looked incredible. And to get to something that I'm not sure if we've even mentioned just yet, Bray's got a new mask. There's apparently some sort of new iteration of him that we saw after the matchup. And that is probably the thing I'm most excited about coming out of this matchup is like, what is that? What is the name? What's the story we've got behind here? That is clearly what Bray Wyatt, I think, was referencing in the promo that he had on SmackDown, I believe it was, or Raw, I can't quite remember, where he said, LA, you're responsible for what you've unleashed. I think that's exactly what it was. That thing was, to quote Pat McAfee, taking kendo shots to the head.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you hit on the head. We did talk about during the match, man, Pat McAfee should never call. I love Pat McAfee. Biggest, number one fan. You should never call a Bray Wyatt match ever again because you want to look at this match and take it seriously. And he's making jokes this whole time, dude. And like, I don't want to laugh during a Bray Wyatt match, especially a pitch black match. So, I don't know. Pat wants to know, when is Bo Dallas going to reveal that he's Uncle Howdy? I think that's a lot of things like that people thought maybe would have happened tonight. Maybe we got a reveal of who he was. It's got to be him. I think there's no question about it. Which version of Uncle Howdy? I think tonight we may have saw a Bo Dallas elbow drop from the stanchion there.
An elbow Dallas from the top rope.
It's a good question too. Can you take the match serious though with neon ropes?
I mean,
I look past those things
with Mountain Dew logos everywhere. But you listen. I don't think anybody was going into this matchup expecting to really take it too seriously. I think what the aftermath was what we knew Bray was going to win it. But what was to come afterwards. Much like the main event, it's always great to see Roman and KO fight. We
Yeah.
know Roman's going to win. The interesting part is the story that's going to happen afterwards, or possibly during, or within the matchup. So with Bray, it was the supernatural stuff. At least for me, it was the supernatural stuff. It was wanting to know more to this obvious end game. LA Knight isn't the end game of this, rivalry. At least not yet. Whatever the end game is, I don't think we even know yet. I don't. Who knows? They might not even know yet. But and much like the main event, how that played out, it was more about the story than the actual match itself. Hopefully now the next matchup that Bray has isn't going to be a sponsor one. Obviously, I think we'll get something at Elimination Chamber that'll lead to more. I'm just excited to see when this Alexa and Bray himself are going to cross paths once again, and not just Alexa being haunted. Like, will there be a breaking point for Alexa Bliss to approach Bray and say, "Hey, bro, what's up? Why are you still bugging me?
Yeah.
I thought I changed my number. Why are you still annoying me?"
We'll dabble with the Alexa Bliss match in a minute.
Gurge, I got ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, no, that's right. Gurge, you were there live. We wanted your opinion. You had to get through the tough connection areas. Hopefully, you can talk to us here. You look a little frozen. We'll figure it out. Can you give us thoughts on the match live in person, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't know how long it's going to last. We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, I'm not moving. So here we go. It was actually pretty dope inside the ring. The moment they left the ring, though, it was not good at all. Like, you couldn't see anything that was happening. All of the stuff that happened for the match was in complete darkness for us. We couldn't see any of it. So we looked on the TV and we could see Uncle Howdy, and we could see the puppets and stuff like that. But it was, if they weren't in the ring, it wasn't a cool experience. But when they were in the ring, it was pretty cool. Whenever they started throwing the glitter or whatever that was, the glow in the dark black light glitter, that was awesome because it looked cool as hell in the ring. But real short match. It was borderline boring, mainly because you just expected more spots from a no disqualification match. I did like the ending, even though Uncle Howdy missed LA Knight, as far as we can tell. But really cool ending, and excited to see where it was. Yeah, if you heard all that. I don't know if you heard that.
I got you. Were you near the explosion by any chance, like that elbow drop thing, or no?
No. We were. I mean, I could see it clear because it was on my side of the arena, so I could see it clear. Absolutely. Like once the explosion happened, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what's going over there." But when Uncle Howdy, like, if you weren't looking up on the monitor, you didn't see Uncle Howdy there at all. And same thing with the other puppets.
Well, dude, I told you to bring the fucking night vision goggles. You didn't listen to me, you son of a bitch. What I tell you, pitch black. I mean, it's going to be in the dark. Robert wants to know, Bray had a Roman numeral 6 on the side of his head before the mask. Maybe get another persona. I think the 6 is a whole thing, right? It's a whole other level of what we're going to eventually get to. We have to look at it in a way like, how far will they let this motherfucker go? Because like, I want him to go 100% where we get 6 people. We have the Wyatt 6. It's Bray, it's Bo, it's Dutch, it's Vincent, it's Alexa, it's someone else. That's where I see it going. What he means by it, I have no idea. He did an interview with Ryan Satin, where it was the first interview we've seen from him in a long ass time, and I couldn't tell if he was in character or it was actually him at times. It's like, you can't read this dude, and I love that shit. So I don't know where it goes. I'd love to see more and more. And I know Complex, and if you watch the interview, he talks about how like he appreciates where people like he understands why people would be confused because he's a confusing guy. He likes creative, like weird shit, and he loves that he sees people loving to like dive into it as well. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Where is LA Knight done from here? Where does he go? We have to worry about LA Knight too. So he was over his shit through this whole process. We'll see where he goes after this match, and I think he has. And I know the thing is, like, no one really survives a Bray feud. I think LA Knight flourished through this feud.
Yeah, I think he'll be actually completely fine. I'd have no problem seeing LA Knight just come out on SmackDown like it didn't even happen because he got his ass whooped, he got beat. Yeah, well, I don't know what happened there, and just move on. He no soul during this whole rivalry. He basically no sold a lot of the mystique of Bray to a degree that he wasn't really scared. I mean, he came out mocking him, So like,
Yeah.
this is the first rivalry that Brady has had someone, as far as I can remember, come out mocking him. So like, yeah, you know what I mean? So
hey, real
Tom
quick
knows.
before we jump topics, the presentation of Bray was really dope. The
Sick.
black light paint and all that stuff, it looked awesome.
No, it looked sick, man. I'm glad you got because you weren't like right there. You were up a little bit, Gurge. So like the fact that you were able to see that and get a view of that's pretty cool. Now that the bloodline's a bit frayed, does the hope that Bray puts together a faction to go against them done, or could I still hold out faith? I mean, I don't know where. I think a huge question is like, and this can go into a whole other podcast, a whole other YouTube episode. What's the end game? Where do you see Bray and whatever he's doing going? So I don't want him to go after a title yet. I think titles on Bray don't work. At least immediately. I think he has to when he eventually gets there, he'll get there. But I think it could definitely still happen. I think and we'll talk about the bloodline in a little bit, but like I think they'll eventually bounce back and they'll have some sort of bloodline going, whether Roman's there or not. I think he'll still be alive. And if Bray's faction goes against him, I mean that's a whole other question. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Bray and Roman face off again someday, right?
I could see it possibly happening when the tides are turned a little bit down the road. Now, what I mean by that is when after Roman has been defeated, after the Roman Empire that we're seeing here has fallen, and Roman has gone on a face turn, which could possibly allow room for Bray Wyatt to be this new face of heel, this new face of evil that kind of acts as the new Plymouth Rock on SmackDown, let's say. Almost replaying basically their some of their past rivalries. Maybe quite possibly that could lead to a storyline where the factions go against each other. I find it, I don't know. Right now, it might end up being maybe too rushed because like Joey said, I can't see Bray in the title picture anytime soon. I don't see Roman. What's going to happen afterwards? Maybe going into SummerSlam, maybe we see, a weakened bloodline try to hold up against Bray now that Roman doesn't have the title. Could allow some room there, but once again, Roman seems to be on that, permanent schedule full time, if that makes sense. I don't think we're going to see Roman in too many rivalries that might involve him being on SmackDown every single week, which a Bray Wyatt rivalry, might entail, something like that. Once again, I mean, we got to see Bray with more people first, and then we'll see what happens. I'm still not convinced that this whole storyline is leading to Bray Wyatt versus Uncle Howdy and kind of facing his demons. When he first came out and delivered that promo, when he first came back after the Raw after, and he spoke about, this is me, this is the real Bray Wyatt, and that was the first time we saw Uncle Howdy. I always interpret that as like his inner demons coming for him.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is like a point where he's kind of gone back to his evil ways, and he's gone back to his ways of the past. Maybe he finds himself along the way. I don't know. I'm fantasy booking in my head. I'd love to do that and get lost in that. But either way, hopefully we do see them, because the chemistry between Roman and Bray is fantastic. So.
Yeah, I think we will eventually, whether it's now or down the road. I think I don't know if it'll be Bloodline versus Wyatt 6 or if you want to, whatever you want to call his faction. But just to go back, because we had a couple comments pop up, NJ3 wants to see LA Knight in the chamber match. I think we could definitely see that. I think
Oh, I'd love it.
we shouted out before talking to each other. LA Knight, Money in the Bank holder,
Money in the year.
Money in the year. I love it. Where was the great Khali? Dude, I don't think he could walk anymore.
I'll be honest. Did you see the curvature of that ramp? My man's knees would have buckled on the first turn.
Yeah, there's no way he could walk that far or walk at all.
Yeah. No.
Cole said Kofi had 1 foot down. Was that supposed to be something in the room? I think he fucked up. And what the funny part is because he's been on interview runs, like just with podcasts that I listen to, leading up to this Rumble, and he brought up how he fucked up. Was it 2 years ago? He just kept talking about. I don't know. He fucked up 2 years ago where he should have landed something and he didn't. And like it's so ironic that he fucked up this year because he definitely botched that spot.
Yeah, that sucks that botch. You could tell on their face real quick. It was like, fuck.
Yeah. Kofi. I mean, listen, Kofi wasn't going to win it anyway, but we've seen the chair spot already. I don't want to see that. Give me something different.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where that spot was going to be going. Definitely need more factions. More factions, the better. Factions allow for more people to get TV time and use. These people don't even got to deliver promos. Let's just see some faces on screens. Gets more butts in the seats.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then that was Vincent jumping off the set, not Bo. How do we know that?
Is that a Vincent elbow drop?
We don't know that.
We're gonna have to start studying the Vincent's elbow pose.
People will be doing clip.
I need receipts, people. I need receipts. I need to see precise elbow drops. Was it an elbow Dallas drop, or was it a Vincent from the top?
And you think Kofi was legit? He could have gotten hurt. I think that was a scary spot to take, jumping on a chair. Pat, you saw Pat McAfee jump on the chair early in the show. I definitely.
Pat McAfee is reckless. He will just jump on that table. It's like, McAfee, did you not see Triple H try to pedigree Kurt Angle on that same exact table? Don't stand on that.
All right, let's move on with the show. Bianca versus Alexa. Back-to-back howdy stuff. I think an obvious choice, maybe. I don't know how it worked, but Bianca goes over Alexa. She went for her sister Abigail quick, so we had the little foreshadowing. Gets the fucking dipsy doodah, gets the pin, and then we see Uncle Howdy afterwards talking to Alexa. Same shit we saw last week, and then it ended. So it wasn't really anything special. I don't think. I don't know. They're not putting as much effort into the Alexa side of it as they are with Bray. Gurge, are you able to converse with us now? I see you talking to people.
I'm currently in line at the bar, and
nice.
yeah. So here's the deal with this match. I'll keep it short.
Okay.
There were 51,000 people in the Alamo Dome, right? 20,000 of us went to take piss breaks during that match. So I was gone the entire match. I saw 0% of it.
And honestly, no hate to that because listen, and we said it while we were watching this live. You have that long ass Rumble match, a banger. You could argue banger, but the end of it was a banger. And then you have the pitch black match, and you throw this match at them. It's a lot, man. That crowd's not going to be there for it. I feel like, and you could tell on TV the crowd was not there for it. Just to go back real quick. Colin wants to know if it's so clear how to use Bo. Why wait so long to reveal him? I think the answer is like we know it's Bo, or we think it's Bo, but like, does everyone think it's Bo? Like, I think it's like people that actually do like. Do we say casual fans? I don't really know. Like who would really know it's Bo unless you like scroll through Twitter and do like the research or read dirt sheets? Like if you're just like a normal guy sitting at home watching wrestling, you would have no fucking idea it's Bo Dallas, right? Like,
well, not even just that. I mean, we still don't know who it is, but before you reveal who it is, you need to establish the relationship between Bray Wyatt and whoever it is. whoever Howdy is, the relationship needs to be established more before we can get a reveal of who the true identity is. That's what made Scooby-Doo fun, because when they revealed the villain at the end, it was the schmuck from the beginning of the episode, right? So we still need to know who the schmuck is, right? So now, is it going to be Bray? Will it be someone like Vincent? If so,
Yeah.
what's the connection there? You know what I mean? But like, once again, you know, it's something that's why I feel we haven't gotten that revealed yet. There
Yeah.
still needs to be more of the story taking place. It's obviously Bo, but when it's revealed, will it be a shock to Bray? Will it be something? What will we ever get that reveal? You know what I mean? So we'll play it out. We'll be patient, everybody. We'll get it. I think we'll get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
we might get it sooner rather than later, but let's see where the story goes now. This is, the LA Knight rivalry has been long with Bray. This has been the end of it. Where we go now?
I saw someone say, like, what if Uncle Howdy is just the character and there's no reveal? He just never takes off the mask, and it is Bo.
Could be very possible. Yeah, it could be
But
very, very possible.
Pat said, I guess Bo, and I'm super casual. You're just super special, Pat. I think that's what the case is here. I don't know. You're a special guy.
It's that Bo jawline, man. It's so recognizable.
It is. It's beautiful. Just going back real quick, we were talking about the Alexa match. Crowd was dead. Tom said, I mean, it was dead. Very dead crowd. I think they're all taking BBs.
Yeah, tough positioning being put there. The crowd, not just the long Rumble match, but then you're going to put the Bray Wyatt match. It's not like those were two matches that people wanted to see. The crowd wanted to see those. So, it kind of sucks that, I'm sure that a lot of the crowd wanted to see that Bianca and Alexa match, but, things happen. Man. You got to go to the bathroom. You got to go to the bathroom,
for sure.
Stuff.
Well, shout out to Bianca, still champion. We'll get into the Rumble in a minute, but Colin has a question. Who's next for Bray in your guys' opinion? Gerd, you want to take that one? Can you hear us, buddy? You still alive? Drinking booze? He's writing a tip on a receipt. Next for Bray.
So Rumble Cup, I like it.
Yeah, so the Rumble Cup. Next for Bray. That's a great question. You hear people like fantasy book, and I know you just went against this. You don't think it's necessarily true because you did help him tonight. But the thought going into Mania would be Bray versus Uncle Howdy. We don't know where they're going with that. I think Bray could just find someone like LA Knight was super random in the back, right? So I think Bray finding him in the back could just be it could be another instance where he just crosses paths with somebody, or there's a history between the two, whether it's Seth, whether it's whoever, I don't know, like someone he's worked here before, so it's not like he doesn't have history with anybody. Who it is, I have no idea. What do you think, Eric?
I tell you what I'd prefer and what I think. I think it's possible it's someone he's worked with before, like a Braun. I hope it's someone that he has never worked with before. Maybe. I'm trying to think of really who's around and on the roster. If I'm being honest, it's a shame that Riddle is not around currently at the moment, because I think a Riddle Bray Wyatt rivalry would have some interesting merit to it. Seeing Riddle get a little serious.
The ties to Orton there too makes sense too.
I'm sorry.
The ties to Orton there too.
Ties to Orton, right, correctly. And I know Riddle sometimes gets a lot of flack for not being as serious. Being maybe a little bit too goofy. People forget Riddle was in the UFC. He is a tough dude, and maybe seeing him a little serious with Bray would be nice. Once again, I mean, I can't really think of anyone else other than Riddle right now at the moment that would really fit. I feel like a lot of guys, to a degree, I feel like a lot of guys have a set path. I don't think they'll go with the Seth Rollins and Bray thing again. I think that's kibosh for a very, very long time.
I think they eventually need to go back to it and then make it right. Let's make it right, right?
Yeah.
Gurge, what do you think, man? You're sitting there sipping. What do you say, man? Jack and Coke? I know you son of a bitch. You fucking got Jack and Coke in your hand, you son of a bitch. You.
Bro, I got 2 Jack and Cokes, 2
Double.
4 Jack and Cokes.
Hell yeah. Who's next for Bray Wyatt, in your opinion? Who would you want to see next for Bray?
He's got to get with somebody who's to kind of echo what Eric was saying. He's got to get with somebody a little bit more serious. Like, so it has to be a serious person. Well, I don't know who that's going to be yet because I don't know what the hell. I mean, I'm with it too. I'm here for the ride too. I just don't know what the hell this character is. I don't know. I don't know what's up with Uncle Howdy with the puppets. Who was he tonight? Because he was all decked out and then he put that mask on. So
There's
it
a lot.
definitely is. It was a lot happened tonight in that match. Absolutely. So to answer your question, I honestly have no idea, but I assume it needs to be someone more serious.
I'm with you on that. And man, we had the puppets back again, the live puppets.
The live puppets. I was so happy to see the live puppets again. That made me quite
I
content.
never thought we'd
I'm
see
glad
them
you
again.
guys saw him because I didn't see shit.
I couldn't tell you where in the arena they were, but they were there. I'd assume wherever.
So you know where they had about a third of the arena blacked out with a big curtain, and that's where they were. They were at that little box area. It's basically on the hard cam side. There, it was off. It was to my left.
Gotcha. Okay.
Tom, it was awesome seeing it. Listen, I was telling Eric during the show, we text each other on the side about Bray stuff because no one else in group chats wants to see our fucking talk about it. I respect you, Tom. I love you, bro. But yeah, it was fucking awesome, man. I thought the aftermath of the pitch black match was sick as an at home experience. I can't speak for Gurge in person, but I thought it was cool. That was badass, and that's Bray, right? So we'll see what happens on SmackDown. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see where it goes, man. Let's see. Women's Rumble. Damn, another number one entry getting the rub tonight, boys, but in a bigger way.
First ever female to come in at 1 and go all the way to win it.
And who the probably, I mean, going into the Rumble, right? Like everyone's choices, you had like odds on favorites, Cody and Rhea. They held up to their odds. Rhea won, came in at number 1 after getting we didn't even mention it before the interaction she had with Beth Phoenix with Edge and the Judgment Day. So clearly we're gonna get Edge and Finn or Edge in some sort of match heading towards Mania. When that happened, Goya, or I'm sorry, Eric, I apologize. Government name. When Edge fought off the Judgment Day, I was like, for sure. I'm like, oh no, Rhea's gonna get fucking Beth Phoenix, and it's gonna be a mixed tag at Mania. I was like, no.
Yeah, I thought
I still want Rhea to win.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Wrestling cliches have trained us to automatically think that the moment something like that happens, that we were immediately then going to be given, some sort of mixed tag match or leading to something like that. And thank God, that they've got the plans that Rhea deserves to have, especially at this moment. She is the women's Royal Rumble MVP since they have initiated the women's Royal Rumble, because every single one, she's either within the top 4 or just throwing every single female out of that ring with ease. She simply loves to just lift legends up and throw them out of the ring. She did it with Ivory last year. She did it with, I believe it was Michelle McCool this year, I think it was. So kudos to Rhea, mommy.
Pat is Rhea's undercover hot. I think it's a sentiment throughout the wrestling world. I think
I could send for Rhea.
She ain't undercover hot, bro. She is hot. Like there's no undercover about it.
I love Rhea, man. Always have. I think just like if you look at the difference from when she started to now, I mean it's night and day, dude. Like come on, or day and night, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
There's a couple comments here I'm not going to post because it's disrespectful to people that we love seeing on this show on wrestling. But Colin and Bobby, go fuck off. Rhea is hot. But I mean, this match had a couple more surprises, right? I think maybe not the surprise we wanted at the end. But let's get into it. Asuka coming back as Kana
that was just
or Asuka
fantastic.
Kana, whatever you want to call it.
So they did reference it on commentary.
They did. Okay.
They did. Yeah.
I missed that.
And oh man, that was just fantastic.
Gurge, you were there for the Women's Rumble. Let's give a comparison of both. You had men's, you had women's. What'd you enjoy more?
That's a great question because me and the guys I was sitting around, we talked about that too. The men's rumble was better as a whole rumble, but there were moments in the women's rumble to include the finish. The women's finish was 10 times better than the men's finish, in my opinion. The whole stressful interaction of Liv, Rhea, and Asuka on the outside.
Oh my God.
That entire scenario had us all standing, bro. We were all on the edge of our seats because we all knew Rhea was going to go over. But, man, accidents happen. They're sweaty. Rhea's been in there for, we talk about Rhea going one and finishing the distance. Don't sell Liv out, man. She was number 2, and she was right there at the end, too. So, I mean, I don't even know what that looks like in Royal Rumble history where the number 1 and number 2 are the final people. Yeah. So this was a history-making night when it comes to Royal Rumbles. But the surprises were cool. I don't know how it came off on TV, but they botched the end with Nia Jax. Like they played her music early before 100%. The countdown.
Yes.
Yeah, we thought that she was coming out to fuck with the match, and then all of a sudden the countdown came up after her music, and I was like, well, I think they fucked this up. Especially because the dude next to me was totally hyped for Naomi. He was totally hyped, and I was hyped for. I was hyped for Rhonda because I figured she would make an appearance, and the dork in front of me was like, she's not scheduled to appear tonight. I was like, well, bitch, Nia Jax isn't scheduled to appear tonight. What are you saying right now? You don't know how this Rumble works, man. But while the overall match was boring with the likes of Dana Brooke and Natalia and what's her name? No one's Mina than Tamina. When I see those type of warm body characters who I haven't seen on TV in God knows how long, literally you're just filling a hole. You could fill those holes with legends or with anybody, more NXT stars. The NXT stars, Roxanne got a huge pop, and we were talking about it. It was like, why does she need to compete in the Rumble if the NXT Women's Championship, whatever? Well, you don't need to compete here. Oh, that's right. NXT isn't a real show. I forgot about that. So,
whoa.
That's what it said.
Dude. We're not going there right now, all right?
Oh, and real quick, I'm going to sidetrack to the men's Royal Rumble just real quick. There was a lot of conversation, especially in this last week, about what's going to happen if Sammy doesn't win the Royal Rumble because Sammy's so over, right? I didn't get a chance to talk about this earlier. But then I thought about it, and I sat there and thought, do you think Roman Reigns would let anyone in the bloodline even potentially compete for a spot to challenge him? Like, not even, that's what. So I thought I don't know if they ever talked about this at all, but the fact that there were 0 members of the bloodline in the Royal Rumble is goddamn. How is the bloodline the best story that's happened in wrestling, like in the last 5 or 6 years? But back to the Women's Rumble. The Michelle McCool was cool, pun intended, and the Rhea winning obviously at the end. That entire sequence on the apron was fucking phenomenal, man. We were standing, losing our shit at the idea of Rhea accidentally slipping and costing her shit.
And I think that speaks for itself with the women's division because, like, in the sense to like the men's Rumble, it's like, all right, Gunther versus Cody. Gunther could win, but as you're watching it, it's like, could Gunther really win? No, like not now. It doesn't make sense. Where Liv and Asuka could win, and it makes sense. Like the risk of Rhea, who we want to win, even though I wanted Cody to win, nothing against Cody, but it just like the suspense level is like this for the women's and for the men's. Like I knew Cody was going to win. There's no chance. I knew it was like Hulk Hogan thrown over fucking Psycho Sid at the Rumble, like whatever. That's not the case, but you know what I'm saying. Like, but man. A lot of spots in that match that were like sketchy and like, but you brought up NXT. Indy Hartwell looked good. I think Indy Hartwell fits in with that roster, man. Like, I don't know what they have planned for in NXT, and you can listen to our podcast, like figure out what we think about it. But like, I think she needs to be brought up right away because she's not doing anything at NXT right now. Get her up on the main roster, figure something out, put her with Candice, make it a tag team. Let's call it a day. Let's go to the comments quick. Couple questions here. Do you think Raquel established herself in the Rumble as a legit contender? Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
100%.
100%.
Uh,
Look at
Hey
she.
man, let me say something real quick. So
Yeah,
there was a big Raquel Rodriguez fan right behind me, and this dude was marking out hardcore when she came out, and obviously she's fantastic, right? But every time she came face to face with someone, he would always scream, "Show, show her your back, show her your back, Raquel, show her your back." He said it like 8 times, and I popped every time for it.
It's fantastic.
yeah, it's like her thing. She like flexes her back. That's like her fucking gimmick. I had her knocked in for shout out to Paper Champion, thepaperchampion.com, fantasy wrestling done right. Wait till WrestleMania, sign up. You get to fucking have fun with us throughout the pay-per-views, throughout the year. It's a fucking blast. But I had Raquel picked for most eliminations. She didn't get it, but I thought she had potential to because she is a future star of this business. Speaking of,
Who had most eliminations?
Rhea did. Rhea
Oh,
had
fuck yeah,
7.
Rhea.
yeah. Pat believed Raquel is a future star. She is, dude. She 100%
Yeah,
is.
100%. What was great with that is, and this is gonna go hand in hand with Raquel. No, I'm sorry, not Raquel. Roxanne Perez. I believe that both of them are from the Texas area.
Yes, 100%.
So I think that's why Roxanne might have been there to just kind of get that like hometown kind of pop, add
Well,
to what's already going to be probably an amazing year for her.
well,
And then
I
the same
definitely
thing
thought
with-
that Raquel was going to go over because she is. I'm almost positive she's from San Antonio.
yeah,
Like,
and she
if
had
not, she's super close.
yeah, and she's had shout out once again, like I was saying earlier, I love the fashion and professional wrestling, and she had the shout out to Eddie Guerrero gear on, and it was just freaking great. She looked stunning with it, and the showdown she had with Nia was awesome, man.
Yeah, I think
Good moment in that
Colin, I think Raquel she needed something, right? And I think the Rumble she did on NXT, she definitely had it. I think in the main roster, she was still trying to find her footing. I think they put her in a title match with Charlotte, and I think tonight was definitely a stepping stone for her. Whether or not like she can challenge for a title soon, maybe she wins the Elimination Chamber, or maybe she does something like that. But I think she's definitely going to be a huge piece for the women's division going forward. But yeah, for sure.
Hey, I want to do a sidebar real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here at my hotel bar. I'm at the Marriott. If you guys were looking, they did that shot of San Antonio when they did the Royal Rumbles from San Antonio, and you can see my hotel in there because that's how close I was. And I'm sitting here in my hotel bar, and there's this couple. Like, I'm outside on the patio, and there's this couple. He's wearing a Royal Rumble shirt. She's not.
Oh, nice.
I'm assuming they just came, but they ain't saying a goddamn word to each other. I don't know what's going on, but I'm fascinated by the people watching over here on my left.
So how about you fucking show us who they are and put them on camera without discretion? All right, don't do it. Don't do it. They're gonna get... All right, let's go.
Maybe they were hoping for like a Randy Orton return or something. You never know.
Hey man, we all talked about Stone Cold and The Rock all
Oh my God.
damn night.
Oh, I could only imagine.
The entire section, that's all we talked about was Stone Cold and The Rock. And Naomi too, but obviously that didn't happen. I threw out Sasha Banks. I just wanted to hear her music live.
Oh, for sure. Are they making Gun through the future? I think he is a future. I don't think he's been fucking working NXT UK, NXT, and now the IC title, bringing it back to like prominence. I think he is the future, no doubt.
I don't think it's a hot take, but I think 100% Gunther next year's Rumble, man. Like, give him one more year of just owning that IC title and owning he went the distance tonight. There's no way in hell he doesn't come in at like number 15 or 16 next year and win it.
Yeah, 100%, man.
I don't think we even have to say Rumble. I think like him versus Cody as like a fucking SummerSlam main event. It doesn't have to be, like it could happen. I don't think we need much.
We do have money in the bank.
Gunther, that'd be cool. That'd be fun.
Give that man money in the bank. That's a chop I am not looking to take after a matchup.
Raquel, yeah, you're right, dude. What was she? Raquel Oh, she was Raquel Gonzalez. Now she's
Yeah,
Raquel
now she's
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And
It's
Vince
much harder
McMahon
to
was
say.
slightly racist. So he was just like, just give her a different Spanish last name and call it good.
Gonzalez doesn't
Son.
sound good. I think it's
Son
a
of
real
a-
name, though. I believe that's why I think they changed it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right, boys. It's time.
Oh man,
This is the main event. Bringing Mark Henry. Roman versus KO for the third time at a Royal Rumble in the past 6 years. So the match itself, and I said this a bunch of times, me and Eric talked about it during the match. Like, we've seen this match before, right? The match itself. Towards the end, it definitely picked up speed for sure. And we knew Roman was going over, but we didn't know what was going to happen afterwards. And that's what I kind of want to talk about, right? So like the aftermath of what happened in this main event. Handcuffs, beat down on KO. Man, he got his ass beat. Sammy, he's hesitating. He doesn't want it to happen. Finally, gets the chair. Boom, smacks Roman in the back. NJ3, shout out to Wrestling Journal Podcast, just sent me a picture. Very similar to the Seth Rollins chair shot from when Seth Rollins turned on the heel on the Shield. Man, what a moment. Sammy gets a beatdown. Gertz, I'm going to go to you first, just because you were there. That was a very long post-match deal. How were the vibes in the crowd? What were you thinking? And was anyone chanting Rocky in the crowd? Because I was chanting in my heart. I thought he was coming for sure, right? I don't know. What's going on?
So a couple things. There's a lot to unpack about the match and the angles.
So much to unpack.
So first off, obviously this was put as the main event not because of the match, but because of the angle. And yeah, 100%. I recorded 3 minutes on my phone, waiting to hear The Rock's music because I figured the way it was going, I was like, all right, they're gonna continue beating Sammy and obviously Kevin, and The Rock's gonna come out. Obviously that didn't happen. But here, I'm gonna kind of talk about a few things. So, and my phone's gonna die soon. So if I fall out, I'm sorry. So,
okay, it's no worries.
So a couple things. I want to talk to and I'm specifically calling out Joey on this one. I'm going to call out the beat the traffic crowd. All right, you have zero idea how many people left the moment the bell rang. The people I hung out with for 5 hours, every single one of them left. I was like, there's no way in hell you guys don't know that this is about an angle, not about the match. So none of the people I hung out with that night or tonight hung around for the post match angle, and so I feel bad for them because they miss an obvious goddamn masterpiece. Now, obviously, I don't know if you guys could hear what Roman and Sammy were saying to each other. Obviously, we can't hear that in the arena, but I can read body language like a motherfucker, and it was tense, bro. It was tense. Whenever there was that moment, whenever Sammy had the chair and Roman went to talk to, I think Kevin, I think he went to go talk to Owens, and he was talking shit, and they kind of shifted a little bit whenever he was just standing. Oh, he didn't even raise the fucking chair. He was just standing behind him. Bro, we all popped our little tits off, man. It was phenomenal. The Sammy chants were out of control. And what I'll tell you is I've been to a bunch of wrestling shows now, and this was the most somber, depressing end of a show because we were all just sitting there in absolute silence whenever Roman and the Bloodline were walking back up. Obviously, Jay leaving the ring and walking back on his own fucking popped the crowd hard. That's a fucking element of the story that I didn't hear anybody mention this shit at all. I can't believe that this goddamn storyline keeps me fucking going every single time a development happens. And I want to tell y'all, I had goosebumps the fact that I was there live at the Sammy turn. Like, I know we've been talking about the Sammy turn, I feel like, for 6 months. Like, when are they going to turn on Sammy? When's it going to happen? And it never felt like it was going to happen. And to be there live for the Sammy turn was phenomenal. But for Sammy to initiate the turn, I don't think anyone had that fucking on their cards. For Sammy to wait a minute, I'm gonna hit the goddamn tribal chief in the back with a chair, bro. I'm telling you, the air was sucked out of the room, and it was phenomenal to be live. I can't wait tomorrow. I'm gonna be hungover as hell. I don't have to drive tomorrow, and I'm gonna watch the Royal Rumble back on Peacock because I need to hear everything that was happening in that ring. Fucking perfection, minus The Rock. If The Rock was there, it would have been a little bit better. But obviously, we're not getting The Rock at WrestleMania.
So first off, I didn't forget what you said about in your opening statement how you want to reference me to be a fucking walkout before a walkout early beat the traffic guy. That night was a Wednesday, brother, and I work and I have kids. Damn it! So go fuck yourself.
Listen, YouTube audience and podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Podbean. Don't let him try to not say he's a little bitch.
I have a family, damn it. Shout out to Heath Slater. Yeah. The one thing you could say about this is like, and I said it to go Eric, sorry, when we were watching this is a fucking movie, dude. That's all you could say. This is a goddamn movie we're watching here.
To quote Martin Scorsese, tonight this was cinema.
Yeah.
Absolute cinema.
Dude. Man.
Fox called Martin Scorsese, by the way.
I want to go to some comments quick, but then we'll go to you. Let's see, what's the good one to pick here? Well, hold on, I want to go back to Gunther quick. Is Gunther a low-key Nazi? He's not. He's Hungarian. I think he's something like that. That just popped the shit out of me. I think Marcel Bartel is the only German one in that group.
Yeah, he's Austrian. He's Austrian.
Yeah.
Hitler was Austrian too. Let's just don't forget.
He's German adjacent. Pat would appreciate that. At this point, if no Rock tonight, is it not happening this year?
I wouldn't expect it this year. Man. Rock is Mania only.
Well,
I'm telling you, SummerSlam, but
no. This was he is Mania only. You're absolutely right. And if he's not popping up tonight, it ain't happening. Rock is off the table now, as far as I'm concerned, because obviously we have Cody. And Cody is the baby face of all fucking baby faces to dethrone Roman Reigns. We're not getting Rock this year.
Yeah, I think what we're going to get is, and maybe I'm riding off dirt sheets, but we're going to get Sammy, Roman, Chamber, Sammy, KO versus the Usos at Mania for the tag team titles, and then Cody versus Roman. As much as I wanted Cody versus Roman, Rock versus Roman 2 nights of Mania, I don't think if we didn't see Rock tonight, it's a good sign we're not going to see him, as far as I know. Jay will be the reason the Rock comes for us. Hey, maybe he's going to make a call. He clearly has connections. He's in the family. You never know. I don't know.
Hey, status update. The people just left. They just left. I don't know where they're going.
Are they holding hands or no?
No, they're not holding hands, man.
It would be interesting to see The Rock interfere in the potential Uso WrestleMania match instead of the Roman match.
What if this, boys? Check this out.
I'm ready to check it.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but
okay.
Sammy versus Roman at Chamber.
Uh-huh.
It's in Montreal.
Right.
Maybe the jabroni beaten. Pie eaten.
Okay.
I don't know the rest of the song, but he shows up in Montreal. Maybe gives Sammy a little quick nod. He gets the dub in Montreal. Fuck Mania.
Could lead to the matchup. I assume there's still potential. Stranger things have happened on the road to WrestleMania.
Tom says Roman told Sammy to hit him or go back to jackass shit. He did say that. I don't know if you guys heard that.
That was
Gurge, I don't know if you heard that. You probably couldn't hear it from that far back, but he brought up the jackass stuff.
No, I couldn't hear anything. Did you guys? Hold on a second. Were you guys at the Rumble? Hey, we're recording a podcast live right now. They may not be able to hear you. What'd you think of the Rumble?
Honestly, it was mediocre. I've been to 4 Rumbles.
Mediocre. That's what he just said. Which I'll take that as not a hot take. That's a pretty solid take. He said it was mediocre.
Fair
You're in
enough.
fourth row? He was in fourth row, and he says it was a mediocre Rumble, which I'll give him credit for that. What'd you think of Cody winning, though?
Cody was expected.
Cody was expected. I think.
Very true.
Expected.
Here, we're over there. We're out here at the Marriott drinking and eating right now. All right. If you guys hear me talking, I'm talking on a podcast. I'm not fucking crazy, I promise. But yeah, that was my second Rumble. I was at the Rumble with Becky Lynch when she won, and that was pretty dope. But this
Yeah, I
was
was there too. I was at that Rumble. That was in Arizona.
that was in Arizona, yeah.
I was there, too.
Well, hold on, wait. We're talking about Sami Zayn right now. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
What'd you think of that?
Oh, that was dope. That was the best part of the Rumble.
Best part of the Rumble. That's what he said.
Okay.
Best part of the Rumble.
That whole story.
What'd you say, Eric? Martin Scorsese out there.
This is
producing
cinema,
fucking
baby.
Wrestling. Yeah.
And then don't
cinema.
forget the fuck Martin Scorsese after.
Who's taking,
Don't forget that part.
home there.
That was awesome.
Triple H is still in charge right now.
Yeah.
For now, for the time being.
Triple H is still in charge just for now, though, because the Bloodline shit was good.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, at least we know that.
Piper Niven.
Oh yeah, Piper Niven. Did we even talk about Piper Niven?
We didn't.
The
We
fact
fucking dipped over,
Dropped
bro.
the dewdrop.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's how you know Triple H is still in charge.
Hell yeah.
Actually, there's something I want to tell
Okay.
Burge because he didn't hear it on commentary.
Hell yeah. I got you, man. I
About that.
appreciate it.
So, Gerge,
Sorry, I'm making friends at the Marriott bar.
Hell yeah, brother.
to reference the Piper Niven's moment on commentary, since you couldn't hear it, it was actually great. When she got into the ring, Michael Cole, I believe, said, someone is about to get dropped. What do you guys think? And Pat McAfee said, oh, I do. Followed by, I believe it was Corey Graves repeating, I do as well. Someone's going to get dropped. I do think someone will get dropped.
Yeah, Vince McMahon's back. He's writing that shit.
I don't know, man. I think it was a subtle Easter egg because they also referenced Viper. So
I think they were taking shots at Vince. That's why
I think he was taking shots at Vince. Yeah, that's the way I took it as. Yeah, my delivery might not have come off as good as McAfee's, but it is McAfee.
I threw that out there earlier about Piper. Yeah, I saw that comment, Bobby. You piece of crap. All right, so man, we're here. The end of Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn turned on Roman. The chair shot heard around the world. Goddamn. Where do we go from here? Where does Raw start off, right? Oh, where does Kevin? That's the question that was asked before. I missed it. Where does KO go from here? I think
KO. We don't see KO till I wouldn't be surprised until Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
My
or
man
not
got his head kicked off. He got Ned Starked immediately.
After that, I
Right
think
there.
as much as I want to see Sammy win a title, I think we wait for that. But maybe SummerSlam, right? Wait, he'll always have the.
Listen, if anything, this whole thing is going to make Sammy a star, and he will catapult to the.
He's
moment,
already there.
You know, the moment Cody drops it to a heel, expect for Sammy to be the one that takes it from that heel.
The Elimination Chamber match is going to be a pop fest. All the near falls are going to be awesome, and they're in Montreal. It's going to be dope.
We don't even know what matches we're getting for Chamber, right? So we don't even know if sometimes yeah, like we don't even know if it's going to be
female
for what titles. For did they ever do a fuck you? I'm looking at comments. I know there are people fucking with me too. So like, we don't know if they're like. I feel like in the past, number one contendership was an opportunity for a chamber match, whether it was U.S. title, IC title. We'll see what happens. But KO, I think ultimately, him and Sammy tag match at Mania versus the Usos is the match.
That seems to be the inevitable in the storyline.
And you get like Cody, Sammy, KO, maybe throw another guy in there versus Solo versus Roman and the boys. Like throughout, like you can interchange matches leading up to these events, like right, like have them as a unit somehow, and we'll see that.
That is very true. It would be nice to see they at least get somebody else that could handle Solo, since it'll be Cody distracted with Roman, Sammy and KO with the Usos. Yeah, it'd be nice to see somebody.
Oh, Solo needs to win either the U.S. title or the IC title at Mania, hands down.
Yeah, Who's
How about him being the only member of the bloodline left with belts after Mania with a belt?
I wouldn't mind seeing him take it off for Austin Theory.
that could
You
be?
don't want to see him take it off of Gunther? You don't see him take it off of Gunther? You gonna be a
don't.
Gunther loyalist? here?
No,
I do, yeah.
100%.
I'll be
You sup-
honest. I
You
want
support
Gunther to
Nazis,
beat
apparently?
Cody. I want to see
Listen.
Gunther with both titles.
Gunther and Solo right here, bro.
Hell yeah.
Right here.
That match is sick. Is there a Mountain Dew match in Elimination Chamber and with a quick follow up, or is it Canada Dry match in Montreal?
It's gonna be Canada Dry.
100% Canada Dry.
Canada Dry in Montreal.
What is that? A seltzer?
Do they-
Is
It's
that-
ginger
It's
ale.
ginger ale.
Ginger
Do they
ale,
still
that's
make
right.
that? Is that still a soda?
They do.
I
Yeah,
guarantee
drink
you
that
they
shit.
still make it.
I drink
I
it.
bet you do drink
I
it.
am a
Yeah.
I'm an open Canada Dry ginger ale drinker. What the fuck is that?
Ginger ale, man. What do you drink that for? Your period? I don't even know what you
Bro,
drink
what
that
are you
for.
talking? You mixed that
What
with a
do you
little
drink ginger ale?
rum? What are you talking about? You don't have rum and
Ginger ale's
ginger ale?
great, dude.
Fantastic.
Bro, I'm a hillbilly. I'm drinking Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola. That's the only thing I know how to do.
Yeah, I drink that too. I drink it
Dude,
all.
Canada Dry raspberry ginger ale is probably one of the best sodas ever created.
Canada Dry.
Bro, I didn't
raspberry
even know
is
they made
delicious.
other Canada Dries.
Ah,
You're
what?
like educating me right now.
They have Canada Dry blackberry ginger ale.
oh, I didn't know
Fantastic.
that. I didn't know that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Don't get the bold ginger ale though. I should have fucked with that.
On the end of the ginger ale talk, Royal Rumble has gone and passed. It's fucked up. Good stream, hell Gunther. That's horrible. We'll leave that there for a second.
We could just start a cult of Gunther.
Yes, we did. Boys, thank you for joining me. Paper Champion Eric, where can they find you on social media? What do you want to shout
You
out?
find me if you really want to just connect with me. Instagram, the Paper Champion. You can find me on TikTok too, but you're gonna have to just find some searching. It's not the Paper Champion there. You can go to Articulation Station. You'll probably find me there.
Gurge Brooms, where are they getting you? I know you have a tag
Hey, man.
here, but
You can get me on Instagram at I Hate Gertz Brooms. You can also follow my podcast at From the Top Row Podcast. I will be recording an episode tomorrow live from my hotel room to talk about not only what I thought of the Rumble again, but more of like this week was a wild week in wrestling, especially on the Bloodline storyline. So yeah, at I Hate Gertz Brooms at From the Top Row Podcast.
and WrestleBuzz at WrestleBuzz on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, at WrestleBuzz with 3 Z's on Twitter. Thank you for everyone joining us tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed Royal Rumble. More streams coming, post shows from the pay-per-views, a variation of us. We got other people coming in, people in the comments. We love you all. And as always, take care, stay safe, watch pro wrestling.